The question that I have is a little bit about what you were talking when you mentioned how, you would tell Jerry, that's not your work. That's not your work. And I find myself with that question a lot. What is my work?
Alignment.
Alignment. Yeah.
That's it. Alignment is your work. Now, contrast is evoking desire from you, but we wouldn't really call that your work because you can't stop that from happening. Mm-hmm. And source will tend to the vortex. That's not your work either, because the law of attraction is tending to that and the source within you is focused upon it. So your work is to establish a steady grid that allows what you've been asking for and who you really are, the furthest extension of all that you have become, to be present in this moment right here and now.
So I want to understand, I guess maybe not really technically, but kind of the mechanics of how the universe expands. Like, you have taught me to do wonderful things, have fun. I enjoy new business deals. I love cooking with my kids. I just have fun all the time. But I feel like I want to understand, how is it so that how is my joy expanding the universe?
Well, it's not only your joy that expands the universe, it's your asking that expands the universe. It's your reaching for something that you have not yet found that is the primary catalyst for the expansion of the universe. In other words, you're cooking with your children, but you are aware of starving children, and you wish for them more abundance in food. You've asked for something, and the universe is expanded because of your focus upon it. But you don't allow yourself to be in on the experience of witnessing or manifesting the expansion unless after you have launched the rocket, you find a vibrational stance that doesn't cause you to resist it. In other words, you can't desire that children be fed and then keep focusing upon the fact that children are starving. Because it isn't that you keep them from eating, but it's that you keep you from ever seeing those who are eating. You only get access to those who are starving. So it's like that. Your realization of your expansion is really what we're talking about. You see, you're causing expansion. Everyone is all over the place. That's a given. We're not here to talk to you about expanding the universe. You couldn't stop it if you tried, because you've come in such perfect proportion to one another, mixing it up in such powerful ways that you are continually asking for more. The expansion of the universe is not in question. Your realization of it is. And your satisfaction because of your realization of it is. You see? That was so good.
Yeah. I hear that. I think that one piece that I sometimes kind of want to come into alignment on is I have, I love when things are simple. I love simplicity. I love when things are simple and I can be satisfied with very little. And sometimes there's a push and pull because I get confused because I hear you tell me you need to ask for more things. And I'm like, I don't want more crap. I have enough stuff. I've got the house, the husband, the kids, the cars, all of that.
We're not encouraging so much that you ask for more things. We're encouraging that you make more decisions. We're encouraging that you allow yourself exposure to more life. We're encouraging that you put yourself in positions where natural desire is born within you, because we know that the true satisfaction of life is in that movement from where you are to that next thing. It is the expansion that is the joy. So Esther was visiting with a friend the other day, and they were talking about this very thing, about expanding horizons and about talking more about what is wanted and about making more decisions. And then Esther received, right almost in the middle of this conversation, Esther received an email from a friend, another friend. And it was a link that links to something on YouTube. And she usually doesn't push through on those because there are so many of them and they are time consuming. But for some reason, in the middle of this conversation or in this train of thought, it seemed like a good idea. So she clicked on the link. And it was called A Cup of Coffee. And here's this cup, and she clicked on it, and then beautiful music began playing, and she had her headphones on, So beautiful music began playing, and words are written across the screen. And at first Esther is thinking, oh, this is such synchronicity, because this is confirming the very thing that we were just talking about the expansion of prosperity and about making more decisions. And as she began watching it, it said that a person was getting together with other people that he had gone to school with, and that they were meeting at an old professor's house. And that once they met, that the conversation then turned to mostly complaints. And so the professor went into the kitchen and made a large pot of coffee and invited them all in. And here's the big pot of coffee and a tray of cups. Some of the cups were very plain. Some of the cups were made of plastic. Some of the cups were made of crystal. Some of them were exquisite. Some of them were very boring. Some of them were very simple. Some of them were not very pleasing to look at all. And so Esther's thinking as she's watching this, ooh, this is so exciting, because what's going to come next is the people are going to choose the cup that they feel worthy of. Esther is thinking that that's what this message is about, that you sort of only allow in how you feel. She could hardly wait for it to move to the next thing, but when it moved to the next thing, it said, people chose the nicest cups because it is normal to be self-advocating or something like that. And Esther thought, well, I suppose that is true. And then it said, and this is what causes the stress of life. Reaching for more is what causes the stress of life. And then Esther just shut it off. She just couldn't bear to watch any more of it. She could hardly stand that it had happened to her, that she had to expose herself to this sort of ridiculous thought that. And then the more she thought about it, the more she thought, well, that's the way people have been soothing themselves, is that you shouldn't ask for more than you have, because you might disappoint yourself, and that's what causes your stress. So you should settle for less. But then why were they choosing fancy cups if they didn't? In other words, the whole thing was sort of vibrationally inaccurate. She spent the day and the better part of the night trying to sort it out, and finally gave up on it because there's no sorting out crazy stuff. But it made her think about this a bit. And there is something to be said. The piece in what we teach that Esther found that soothed her a little bit is that we don't encourage you to reach too far into something that you don't believe, because if you just stretch yourself and fan the flames of your disbelief, you're not doing yourself a good service either. But to say, I don't want more, is not accurate. To say, I don't want more things might be, but to say, I don't want more, instead what you're wanting to realize is that you are a born expander. And as you get into the flow of that natural expansion, the tension will go away. And the true tension of life, we promise all of you, the true tension of life, the thing that is most responsible for more tension in more people, is trying to hold back the desire that is born out of your exposure to life. In other words, trying to hold back your desire because you haven't figured out how to line up with it is the stress factor, you see. That's what was happening with Esther's water garden. The pump was just working so hard, trying to do something that it could not do. The pressure was just so great. And when you've got a desire that you don't believe, you establish a tug of war within yourself, you see. So we will only agree with you when you acknowledge that it is natural for you to expand, and more is the mantra of the universe. More is the mantra of that which you are. If you want something that you don't believe, and then you continue to want it, and you don't believe it, and so the contrast just keeps you to continue to want it, but you don't believe it, there is a stress factor. But the answer isn't trying not to want it. The answer is lining up with what you want, because the universe will deliver to you the castle or the button. It doesn't make any difference once you're in alignment with it. Now, we've given a basis, and we know you've been thinking about this a lot, so we'll listen to you for a bit.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I'm trying to understand, because when I hear you say more, I automatically think, like, I need to expand my business. Maybe I'm supposed to be looking for bigger houses, or like...
What about more clarity? What about
Yes.
more fun? What about more satisfaction? What about more ease? What about more understanding? What about more love? What about more... There are a lot of mores that don't end up in Esther's hangar.
Right. Yes. That's the point that I need to hear from you, that is okay. I don't have to want more stuff. I can want just...
that when you get overwhelmed, you want more calm.
Yes.
When you get a lot of calm, Hendersonville, you want more exposure.
Yes.
When you have too much exposure, you want more calm. In other words, that's what helps you to keep finding your balance, you see. But when you understand that more is inevitable, that you are on a path of eternal expansion, and you decide to relax into that flow, oh, there's such satisfaction. The realization that there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have is the most life-giving realization, unless you conclude that you want to be and have and do that, and you believe you can't. Then that knowledge that you can be or do or have anything, but the awareness that you're not being it and doing it and having it sort of binds you up. So now, what's your work? Your work is to relax and to focus upon why you want it, and to find vibrational alignment with it, and to find the grid that matches it. And then as things start flowing, first in the form of emotion and then in the form of ideas and impulses, there's nothing more exhilarating than to have identified a desire and to have allowed yourself to carve out the vibrational path to it.
Yes.
That's really what step 3 is. Step 3 is carving out the vibrational path to it. And humans don't instinctually do that. That's why you're asking for simplicity. And that's our message, is one of simplicity. We've got one answer, and we just give it to you no matter what you ask. Have you noticed?
Yes. I hear that.
This has been a wonderful discussion. Every bit of it today. Every bit of it. Each piece leading to the next, leading to the next, leading to the next. It is our powerful knowing that you all have moved into a new place of expectation relative to the things that you've been wanting. It's also our powerful knowing that you will never again be doing that thing you do that is clogging your pipes, or that is slowing you down, or that is a momentum and an inspiration to something that is unwanted without knowing exactly how it came about. In other words, you now are the deliberate creators of your own experience, and now it's just a matter of practicing. So how do you leave here and practice? How do you put into practice what you've heard here? Well, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would leave here by first saying, nothing is more important than that I feel good. That is my strongest determination. I'm going to find thoughts that feel good, which means I'm going to be aware of the disc that I jump on. And I'm going to get better and better at jumping on those discs that feel good. And when I'm on it, then I'm going to give my focus to it, because then I'm going to allow law of attraction to give me momentum on that. And when I'm aware, because I care about how I feel, and I'm aware of how I feel, that I'm on a disc that doesn't feel that good, I'm going to disengage as quickly as I can. But if I don't, if momentum carries me, because it's a practiced thought, I'm going to be easier on myself about the negative emotion. Because I know that I can choose again, and I can choose again, and I can choose again. And each time I choose, it's going to be out ahead of manifestation. Each time I choose, I'm going to look for what feels best. Each time I choose, I'm going to get better at it. And each time I choose, then, and here's the thing we want you so much to hear. Each time I deliberately choose a disc. Each time I deliberately choose a disc. And each time I deliberately increase momentum on that disc. And each time I receive inspiration and then manifestation, I'm empowered. I'm empowered. I feel worthy, and I know I can do it. And it does not matter what the object of attention is, because it works across the board on everything. So start with easy things and empower yourself until you feel the invincibility that lets you know that there truly is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. You are unlimited, and you've come here to experience the deliciousness of knowing that. Not the deliciousness of doing that, the deliciousness of knowing that. Everything else follows that. We've enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. You are magnificent beings, and the intensity of that which you is has brought us to a whole new place. There is more movement forward in this conversation than we've experienced ever before. There is great love and appreciation here for you. And for now, we remain stubbornly, permanently, in your vortex.